2025 is the year that many will start their striping businesses. I am rooting for you, but I also don't want you to mess it up. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 mistakes that I want you to avoid in your striping business in 2025. Bang! What's happening, Pod Squad? Shout out to our sponsor for this episode. It's Mighty Line Tape. Love them. Go to mightylinetape.com/stripe it. They'll give you a sample kit of their stuff. So striping businesses, here's 5 mistakes that are often made that I don't want you to make. And this could apply if you're just starting or if you started a business recently. Don't make these mistakes, okay? Number 1. I literally forgot what number 1 is. Matt, what was number 1? Not having a job minimum. This is so easy to do, so important, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so because when you're starting out, if you're a owner-operator, a solopreneur, as they say, so you're not going after the big jobs, right? You're not going after massive multi-portfolios. You're not going after airports. You're not doing large municipal. You're probably going after smaller parking lots, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. So when you start, a lot of those jobs that you're gonna do for striping are gonna be like 10 parking stalls or 20 parking stalls and a couple stencils. They're not that big. And what you're gonna find when you start to do those is they really don't take long. Like you could drive to a job site, unload your trailer, and like be striping 20 parking stalls and be done in like an hour. And that's out of there too. So to help you speed up the sales cycle, fancy word for how long you have to take before you get a proposal, speed up the sales cycle and just simplify things for your customer, give them a job minimum. So right from the gate, say whatever the minimum is, like my minimum is $500. That way, when you get leads on your website or people call you, you can just say, "Yep, this job isn't that big of a scope. That'll be our job minimum, $500." And usually, you can get people to say yes right then and there on the phone. Number 2, as you start your business, like you're not going to have any systems or processes. But the big mistake that I see startup companies make is they don't develop those systems and processes early. So what is that? What does that mean? So a great example of a system that you want to implement in your striping business as soon as possible is like a tracking system of your sales. So normally this would be like a CRM system, a customer relationship management system. So that system could be as simple as a Google spreadsheet, honestly, but there's also like very low cost softwares. HubSpot, to this day, love HubSpot. They still have a free CRM account or free pricing plan. Go get on that. It's going to allow you to keep track of all of your customers right from day one. Trust me, that will come in handy in years 2 and 3. Maybe in year 1, you can just remember all of your customers or just keep track of everybody in your email. Not a great long-term plan. So get all of your customers in that system and start systematizing that. And if you can, start keeping track of all your other things too. Like how long did we spend on job sites? Keep track of your time. Those data points that don't really matter on day 1 will matter as you start to grow and scale and make sure that you're pricing things correctly. 3rd mistake that I see a lot of businesses make: do a ton of intentional marketing. Okay, so that would be like social media. Make sure you have a good website. It doesn't cost that much. Honestly, you can build a website yourself. It's pretty easy in 2025, like drag and drop stuff. Have a good website, put out social media content, keep a Facebook page and an Instagram page and keep it updated. Like most of those things are like $0, right? It costs you no money to put out marketing content on your Facebook, on your Instagram. Yes, it will cost some money to have a website, but ultimately, if you think about when you're starting in a business, you just want to acquire customers as quickly as possible. So what kind of customers do you want? Probably the ones who are like, oh my goodness, my parking lot needs striping. I need to call somebody now. So they're going to go to Google. They're going to go online. They're going to go to Facebook. They're going to try and find who does this thing in my area. The way that you're going to be found is if you have a lot of intentional marketing talking about your company. You have a good website. You have a lot of content on there. If you don't know how all that works with like blog posts and copywriting, like research it. Those are the things that will really set you apart and start to funnel those leads to you very quickly without having to spend a ton of money on paid ads. 4th mistake, and this is a bit of a crazy one, but sometimes you'll see businesses start in striping and they buy like a ton of equipment. Okay, so they buy multiple stripers, they buy brand new, they got the top of the line, they got like Graco 5900s or like dual color machines. And then they invest into crack sealing equipment. And then they got like a seal coat tank that they bought at an auction. That's a crazy amount of equipment. Like even if you have the cash in the bank, Those things do not acquire you customers. I love acquiring customers, and I think you should too, especially when you're starting in business, right? Unless people like you've done some crazy marketing campaign, people don't know you exist yet. So buying tens of thousands of dollars of all this, like there was a time where I thought, man, I'm going to need like multiple stripers, one for white, one for yellow. You really don't. I would way rather take that money that you're putting into a lot of equipment that's basically going to be sitting there most of the time and put that into paid advertising, put that into some sort of premium marketing, put that into something that's going to get revenue back to you. As cool as equipment is, and it is cool, it doesn't exactly bring you money unless you put it to work. And to put it to work, you need customers. Fifth and final mistake that I see a lot of newer businesses make, whether that's a startup, but mostly for like after you get going, a lot of striping businesses grow quickly because depending on your market, how much demand there is, you get busy really quick. So the mistake that I see is the same mistake I made. So I know what I'm talking about with this one. They're too slow to hire someone to help. Now, there could be different like mental roadblocks as to why somebody is slow to hire. Mine was that I felt like I had to hire someone who was going to be full-time. I had to make sure that we had consistent hours. Was responsible for this person's livelihood, which was just so not true. In fact, the first person that helped me in the field was like 17 years old, and he didn't really care if we worked 4 nights a week or 1 night a week. He was just happy to get some extra money. And that one person allowed me to speed up the time I was spending on jobs. In fact, he was a pretty sharp 17-year-old young man. I got him on the painting machine pretty early. And when we would go to like a large restripe, I could just let him restripe the parking stalls and I could do more of the technical stuff. So I see a lot of companies that are slow to embrace to get some help. Don't hold back. Get somebody to help you. And at any moment, I always like to say this, at any moment, there's someone in your market who would love nothing more than to just have a job where they're kind of like on call. And they don't have to work 55 million hours a week. They can just work when there's work to do. Those people are out there. So hopefully that gets your brains going a little bit with some early mistakes that I want you to avoid. Now, even if you make these mistakes, it's not the end of the world, man. Business, it's an infinite game. Don't worry. Learn from them, get better. And if you want more help on growing your business, drop a comment on this video. Tell Matt and I what your problems are. Matt and I are sitting here waiting to solve your problems, right? Absolutely. Look at his enthusiasm. All right. Thank you for the people who do comment. We appreciate you. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, share our content out. It really does help. Keep your stripes hot, and we'll talk to you next week.